Craig, my understanding is that if every person on the planet wanted just 1 ounce of gold, there's not enough.
That's exactly correct. And that would mean supply and demand. If you had incredible demand and limited supply, the prices would exponentially explode. And that's why I'm not one of the camp that believe that gold is going to $6,000 an ounce in the next few years. But I could assure you that in the next decade or two, it could easily hit those levels if they don't put the brakes on it. And this is what's interesting. Do we really think that men that have the ability to create money out of thin air are going to ever stop doing that unless the American people force them to? This whole idea of the debt ceiling and stuff, what a joke. We all know that they're going to raise it. We all know that Mr. Bernanke is going to start a quantitative easing 3 or 4 or 5 or however many he needs to keep it going. We've done this time immemorial. And the argument is, well, we're getting ourselves out of a recession. Well, heck, if you can get us out of a recession, why couldn't you have prevented us from going into one? It's a nonsensical philosophy that the Fed has on the people because they're not informed and they don't know what to do. But when you come to an expo, you'll learn what to do. You'll understand, like the guest you had before me, Rob, I'd love to hear his seminar because he's going to show you how to live the same way on less. We have to learn how to do those things. We have to learn how to be self-sufficient. But it all starts, getting back to your question, Vincent, it all starts with education. And I'm convinced that we teach reading, writing, arithmetic in our school systems. We teach kids how to put condoms on to bananas.
Oh, gosh.
But do we teach them anything about balancing a checkbook?
No.
Do we teach them how their Federal Reserve System works? And that's my point. I don't think it's by mistake. I think it's by design. And if you keep a people dumb, they'll do whatever they're told.
Yes.
Craig, you don't know this about me, but I had a farm on the East Coast in Virginia, and I had a computer manufacturing company. And there were no jobs for these young high school graduates. So I gave our computer manufacturing company to the school system. And I taught entrepreneurship at the high school level. So years 1 and 2, freshman and sophomore years, were used in learning about business from the books. Years 3 and 4, junior and senior years, were in the company within the school system manufacturing computers. We actually taught how a business runs. And we were the only school in the country that actually applied business training to real products, real customers, real earnings, and it was fabulous. It's still in existence today.
And think about how necessary that is for a free market capitalist-based system. I mean, we have the best theoretical money system the world can offer. You can teach a man how to take a natural resource, say like steel, combine it with a human resource, labor, and create a product and therefore create an economy. And that's what we used to do. But now you pay people not to work.
Right.
I mean, Ronald Reagan said it, pay people not to work, and you'll have more people not working. And that's
right.
exactly what we're doing. And it has to be stopped. And if it's not stopped, the only way you can protect yourself is to have precious metals in your portfolio. And does that mean you should go out and sell everything you have and buy dehydrated banana chips, machine guns, and Krugerrands and wait for the end to come? No, heavens no. That's why the expo is so important, that we can show you how to practically survive all these things without having to dig a hole in the ground and go hide.
You know, Craig, this is Mark. I find it absolutely fascinating that you come on this program. You're a precious metals company, and you talk about that, you know, precious metals, obviously that is a strong part of any portfolio, but it's not going to skyrocket. You don't believe that's going to happen. And that's fascinating to me that you would say that, and then talk about tangible resources and investing in tangible things, and talk about the Preparedness Expo. You, sir, are a patriot first. Well, and I appreciate what you're saying here on the air. I appreciate the fact that you're a part of this Preparedness Expo and helping people get prepared for any potential emergency and disaster in the future, and help them not only survive in this downward economy, but actually thrive in it. And I'm just really grateful for you coming on and talking and being a part of the Get Prepared Expo.
Well, those are very kind words. I probably don't deserve them, but I'll accept them humbly. But I can tell you, at the end of the day, guys, you can't eat a Krugerrand, can you? Or you can't eat a silver bar. You have to have food. And that's why we're going to show you how they work synergistically with each other. And by the way, I wish I could be at the expo. I'm not going to be, but my whole team will be there. And if people have any questions about tangibles, gold, silver, precious metals, feel free to call us at 800-289-2646. There are wonderful companies all over the country. We're not the only one. If we can't answer your question, we'll find the answer for you, or we'll send you to the right people in your area. I pride myself on the fact for 30 years, I said it's a slip of the tongue the other day in an interview. This guy was telling me about all these new gold dealers and how they're all experts. And I said, what's funny? I was in the business when most of these kids were in diapers. And look, there are wonderful, fine companies, but I can assure you one thing: if people turn to Swiss America for their education, I guarantee you will never buy or sell without being fully informed and fully educated, whether you use us or you use another company. So keep our number handy. It's 800-289-2646. All of our materials are without cost, without obligation, and we'll make sure we steer you in the right direction.
Craig, now I know you can't come to this expo, but we're going to have future expos. Can we get you down here to Springfield, Missouri, maybe in the fall, at the Fall Expo to talk and meet with our people here in the Ozarks?
I would love to. I don't have my schedule in front of me, but this expo, we all came together kind of as a direct result of losing a great patriot, Derry Brownfield.
Yes.
And we actually have a memorial book that will be there at our booth for people to sign, and we're going to present it to the family to show the love that's out there in the preparedness community for the work that Derry did.
Yeah.
And so I wish I'd had time, but yes, you have my commitment that I'm going to come to one of them because, guys, let me tell you something. Expos used to happen all over the place, and then they just kind of stopped. They disappeared. And if there was ever a time for preparedness expos with the American people, it's now, because we have to learn not to depend on the government. The government is broke, guys. It'd be like me saying, I'll take care of everything for you guys, and then you hear I went bankrupt the next day. I can't help you if I don't have any money.
Right.
The governments never go bankrupt. I know we're short of time. This is important. Governments never go bankrupt, guys, as long as they have the ability to tax the people. The government can bankrupt the people, but the government never goes bankrupt. We can't allow them to bankrupt our country or our people, because we, the people, are the country.
Hey, Craig, can I be your chairman for your presidential campaign if you announce?
Well, I'm not sure I can handle being the president. I would probably fire 3/4 of the guys in Washington.
That's what needs to happen. A guy coming out of government, I can tell you that's most certainly what needs to happen.
No doubt about it. Hey, those guys that actually have to work for a living, if I was the boss, So.
Craig, we invited some governmental agencies to be part of our expo and to train people in preparedness in their style of doing it. They've all declined. Every single one has declined.
Isn't that something? And yet we have FEMA that's supposed to be taking care of people in emergencies. Wouldn't it be better to teach people how to take care of themselves? The people in Japan, if you noticed, and I'm sure you guys did, there was no complaining. There was no griping. There was no people waiting for airdrops.
Nope.
They have prepared their country for events like this. It's like Switzerland. Switzerland's prepared for a natural disaster. Israel. The American people need to learn to be dependent upon themselves. It's almost like the government wants us dependent on them. I want the government out of my pocket, off my back, and away from my children. I know how to pay my bills and take care of my family. I don't need them to tell me how to do so.
Amen.
Yet many people have falling for the fear because they aren't prepared. And and I know I'm preaching the choir with you guys, but when I've met people that have prepared, they put some food away, they put some water away, they got an emergency communication plan for their family, they put some gold and silver away, that fear evaporates. They're not fearful of tomorrow. They look forward to tomorrow because they know no matter what is thrown their way, they're ready for it. And guys, that's what I love about preparing. You're going to get me all fired up here. That's what I love about preparedness.
Hey, you know what, Craig?
You eliminate fear in people's lives of the unknown, and that's what's so critical right now. This whole country seems to have a spirit of dread over it. We can break that dread if we get out in the streets and tell the government what we want, but also prepare ourselves so we don't have to depend on them.
We have a spot for you at the Get Prepared Expo this Saturday and Sunday, brother.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be at one of them, and you'll probably have a hard time holding me down because, see, I'm convinced if every American had a little bit of gold and silver, if if every American had a little bit of food, if every American was prepared to take care of themselves, we could tell the government to go fly a kite and get our country back.
You're right. You're so right, Craig Smith. Thank you so much for being on.
Thank you, Craig.
USA
Thanks for having me. It
Prepares.
was a pleasure, guys. Look forward to being with you again.
We'll
Thank
do
you.
it again.
Well, this is USA Prepares on 1340 AM, the Ozarks Big Talker. I'm Mark Wright. The original survival economist is Vincent Finelli, and we'll be right back after this brief intermission.